What's that? Okay, get your boat. Okay. All right, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok to hear your answer your questions. Okay, if you have any questions about immigration, how to get an immigration benefit like residency, resident status, or to become a U.S. citizen in the United States, this is a channel. All right, so if you found this channel through your feed, it's meant to be. Your phone knows that you have a case about immigration, or you might have a question. Maybe even you've complained about your case. I'm here to share some insights, answer your questions, maybe just point you in the right direction, provide some peace of mind, or maybe tell you that you need to get your act together, which some of you are okay, but some of you really need to get your act together to take action, okay? So just to share up front, if anyone is interested to schedule a meeting with our team, you're welcome to do that. If you're nice, if you're a jerk, don't schedule a meeting. I'll just be upfront about that. But here's the deal. We do offer a meeting for this amount just for y'all on social media, okay? If people just, Google search us, it's a lot higher. But if I want to provide a value to you, it's this amount to speak with our client care specialist. There's a secret code. The secret code today is Ice Ice Baby. Ice Ice Baby. Yes, tell my team that on the phone if you're going to call in, all right? Because we do make it easy for you to click on the link, which I think on TikTok, you can see it right up there. YouTube and Facebook, you can see it right here. Okay. Now, drop your questions in the chat box. Go ahead and tap the screen if you appreciate the way I share information, and let's get down to it. Here are 4 scenarios that you definitely need to talk to a lawyer. 4 scenarios, okay? Number 1 is if you get a request for evidence, okay? By the way, once we get to the taps, we get 500 taps, I'll go ahead and answer your questions. In the meantime, welcome in. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and put the number 1 in the chat box. I'm always interested how far the channel has reached. All right. In fact, if you don't mind, maybe even tell us where you're watching from, which city and state or country. All right. So first scenario that you need to contact attorney is when you receive a request for evidence. Okay. Many of y'all have filed a case already. We're happy to guide you, even just a little bit, point you in the right direction. Okay. Here's the thing. Some people, especially if you're a procrastinator, you're like, oh, USCIS says I got 87 days. That's almost 3 months. I'll get to it later. And then you don't realize, you're like, yeah, I'm busy with work. I'm busy going to happy hour. And 2 months pass by. And you're like, don't I have this one thing? And you look at it, the RFA, and you're like, oh, oops. You need to request certain records from maybe your country of birth. Just things happen in life, okay? The thing is, you got to put it on your calendar. If you're one of those folks that you don't tend to use your Google Calendar or Outlook calendar, then you definitely need to contact us, okay? We're happy to point you or guide you through all the way to the end, all right, to get that legal status. The second scenario is kind of similar, but notice of intent to deny. We call that NOID, N-O-I-D, okay? That's basically the USCIS agency saying, yeah, we think we're going to deny you, but we're going to give you a chance, like one opportunity. They don't phrase it that way. In fact, when you read the front page, the first page of the NOID, it kind of reads as if you've been denied, but you actually have not. If you see notice of intent to deny, you have not been denied yet, okay? You still have a chance. We're very fortunate that many people that contact us were able to turn it around. But it does make it a bit difficult, especially when y'all don't really provide much evidence. Whether there's family-based case, employment-based, some people even it's not just marriage cases, right? If you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur, y'all need to get your act together too. Some of you think you know it all, and then you really don't, okay? It's a lot of things. Like for me, I've been wearing a lot of hats, right, in the business. But here's the thing. I know where my team is better than me. Okay, I do, of course, supervise my team, but at the end of the day, I hire people better than me. Okay, so business owners, y'all got to understand that too. Some of y'all entrepreneurs thinking you know it all. Okay, just because you know it all doesn't mean you're best at it, right, on your team. So with that being said, if you're going to hire us, especially if you're a business, please delegate to someone that you trust. And I hope you trust someone on your team so they can coordinate with us, because a lot of things we need, it's not like we're going to contact you every day, but you need to have a point of contact, kind of like an assistant in a way, or HR, director of operations, something like that. Just give you an idea, okay? Because a lot of people think, don't expect us to ask for some evidence. I don't know what it is, but there seems to be a common theme here. So I just want to give you a tip, regardless which law firm you hire, okay? So anyway, back to NOID. NOID, you have 30 days to reply. It's not much time, because by the time you hire a lawyer or research which lawyer, have a meeting with an attorney law firm, a week or 2 weeks could have passed by. You don't have much. That cuts the deadline in half, okay? So if you don't mind, go ahead and click the plus sign, subscribe, follow on your respective channel, because you never know. I really hope that none of you have this situation for RFE or NOID, but it happens, okay? Even if you have all the evidence in the world, you've only done your own case unless you've had a sponsor file for you multiple times, but that's a different conversation. USCS obviously is skeptical when someone sponsors you a different person sponsors multiple times. Okay, so here's the next thing, the third scenario. Thank you so much for the taps. Really appreciate it. You have any questions? Welcome to just drop in the chat box. Once we get to 500 taps on this platform, I'll start answering questions. So it gives me some time to go through this scenarios with y'all. The third scenario. If you just have a gut feeling that your case is delayed, you're probably right, but it might not be delayed long enough in terms of what we call, months, I suppose. It depends on the case type. Okay. Some people like marriage cases, or like L1, for example, or e-visa. People say, oh, filed 2 months ago. And we're like, well, that's not really long enough unless you pay premium processing for 129. But family based, there's no rapid pass. There's no like Disney premium pass, unfortunately. Okay. But employment based, there is. All right. So you can get that decision or RFE in 15 business days, weekdays. Okay. All right. So, but we cannot file a mandamus lawsuit after 2 or 3 months. It depends on the case. All right. Depends on application. So let's just put those, but your gut feeling is usually right. You usually think about your gut feeling. You have a hunch about something. Just call us. Give us a call. Okay. Actually, you know what? We don't charge for phone calls. I shouldn't tell you all that. My team doesn't want to tell you that, but we don't charge for phone calls. All right. So if you just have a question, my team will tell you if you need to talk to an attorney. All right. Which means you need to schedule one of these meetings, and my team is very kind to answer your questions. But the thing is, the most common question we get is my case delayed enough to file a lawsuit? My team is happy to share that with you, because we have a chart to follow. You don't necessarily need to talk to one of his attorneys just to find that out. Okay. Because that's just more of a delay, right? That's kind of the whole point. Get rid of the delay, reduce the barrier. Appreciate the questions. Thanks for the taps. Let's see. All right, I see some questions now. In the fourth scenario, to just wrap up this thing, the fourth scenario is that you definitely need a hire attorney is if your case is denied. A lot of people just say like, F it, I'm done. You might even separate from your spouse because you're like, F it. Like it might even be from the perspective of the immigrant beneficiary. Don't give up unless you really don't want to be with your spouse anymore. Then that's different. Okay. But don't give up. You could file a 290B or refile the case. And you might think like, why would we refile the case? They just denied me. Well, I mean, some of you hire not so professional teams that some of you asked me on a live show, like, is marriage certificate or photos enough? And I'm just like, yeah, you probably need to hire a lawyer if you're asking that kind of question at this point. All right. All right, let's get some people on here. DiCaprio, let's get you on, okay? I see your question here. What's going on, DiCaprio? I see your question. Do I think your case is taking a long time? Process can lead to NOID. Let me increase the volume. Okay, it looks like your sound is a bit. Your sound is a bit. It's I think you have a bad signal, so I'm just gonna disconnect you. Sorry, I can't hear you that well. Let me click on another button here. Remove background noise. Okay, I got that. Sorry, DiCaprio. I couldn't hear you, but I'll go ahead and answer your question so others can know. Your question again is DiCaprio on TikTok has asked because his case is taking a while. Will that in general just lead to a NOID or denial? No, not necessarily. USCIS, if they want to give you a NOID, actually it makes sense that they just do that ASAP when they review the file. But they're so is disorganized the right word? And I think disorganized is the proper word here. They don't have. I'm surprised. Maybe they do this on purpose. They just don't have. They don't seem to have a workflow when cases reach a certain stage internally. So cases, especially when someone like President Trump has implemented the last in, first out, cases that were filed, let's say like before January 20th, 2025, there's a more of a delay. A lot of our cases that have an interview or decision, they were those that were filed after January 20th. So I certainly feel bad for our clients that have filed before January 20th. Okay. So that kind of gives me an idea. There's a backlog in that sense. And if others are wondering, like, so you won't get annoyed just because it's delayed. Long story short. Okay. Hopefully that helps. It's been a year since you had an interview. Okay. So the kind of question we ask people that schedule a meeting based on this, DiCaprio, is number one, when is your receipt date? But now that it's been a year, that was obviously before President Trump took over, then we likely need to file a mandamus lawsuit. Okay. Now, I usually don't tell every single person. I've seen that on other lawyers' channels. Like they tell literally every single person schedule a meeting. Well, DiCaprio, and I don't usually do that, but it's been a year for an interview. So if you should consider mandamus lawsuit in the link at LINK. We do have a complimentary guide about mandamus. It had just like we have so many guides about like answering FAQs, but we don't show all of them. They would be on the website. But mandamus in this link right here, that's I think the only guide that we just offer available right there. Okay, so that goes to show, yeah, and you filed in 2023, so that's too long. It's all these delays are holding up y'all's lives. Okay, even if you don't have kids, but I got my kids tugging at me like, "Hey, Dad, when are we going to Disney cruise or something like?" And then you feel bad, right? So let's get it going. Other thing to consider, example, what we ask in a strategy session is, do you remember what it was like during the interview? Okay, even though your interview may have been like, like nothing negative, it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean you should wait and wait. Okay. All right. But it's a good thing in the sense that if you didn't have any like difficult questions to answer, or even if you had difficult questions, but you were able to provide a solid answer, then you're good to go. But that's not a reason. A delay is not a reason. Doesn't mean it's necessarily going to reach a denial. It's just that disorganized. Okay. So I hope that helps. Dr. Royalty, yes, we do. We're always adding to our referral list. If you're a business owner and you think you can provide value to any of our clients, you're welcome to email us or send us a DM. All right. Love to add y'all. More the merrier, right? Let's help out our clients and help your clients at the same time. All right. Let's see here. Ooh, there we go. I'm trying to get back on a regular schedule during the day, but it's tough. With this administration is throwing us off. I'm usually trying to go live during the day at 11:30 a.m. Central. But there's always so many. Oh, that's great, Dr. Royalty. I like your name, by the way. You offer in 10 different languages. And is it remote? Or can it be virtual? Rocio, do we accept self-petition cases? Absolutely. whether it's family-based, VAWA, T visa, U visa. Oh, jeez, man, my dog is loud when there's a delivery person. What's it called? EB1A, EB2 NIW. We definitely help with that. Okay. Let's see. Let me scroll back up though. I do want to try my best to go in order in the questions I receive. If you want to join live, you're welcome to do that. Probably limit to 4 people total today. Just because, yeah, I got limited time. Oops, I almost hit end stream. Maria, welcome back. Your question is, what's the protection? What's the protection under the law to work with a valid work authorization in the case, like with ICE arrest and kidnapping, basically? EADs in general do not provide protection. Okay, I remember earlier this year, at least relevant to like what we call humanitarian cases like VAWA, T visa, U visa. There's deferred action. So in that sense, in these kind of scenarios where people are just getting kidnapped and they didn't do anything wrong, no crimes, that should not be happening for people with those kind of cases. Okay. But they haven't, there's not, as far as I know, still there's no official word, but it's very clear, like they don't even care about official channels anymore. So unfortunately, but I remember there was a leak and someone shared on Reddit that they were considering to not allow deferred action, which in a sense is like some kind of protection from getting referred to immigration court. Okay. Royal lovers, I go one by one. So no, I have not seen your question. But please know, especially TikTok on the live show, sometimes they don't share the question, even though you can comment like, "Have you seen my question?" It's weird. It's totally weird. So I'll be on the lookout. Um, let me find your question though. But yeah, I do things differently than I think most lawyers don't care about mentioning this. I don't really care about the algorithm to some extent. So you only have to ask it once, and I'll try to get to it. I don't even know if it helps the algorithm on TikTok. That'd be weird if you had to like. What's up, RP? Maybe I don't see your question. Why am I squinting? Okay, I do see you have a quick question. If that's okay. Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah. No, I don't actually see your question. I do see you're at work and you're not able to join, but I don't see your actual question. So yeah, this is actually a scenario where TikTok hid your question, which is weird because sometimes look, this is totally weird because before like was it January 10th or something? Um, okay, now I see your question, Royal Lovers. But remember that like shut down for like 12 hours on TikTok? That was weird, right? Before then, I could see like everyone's question, even if they were hidden, I could see it and I could like accept it. But our wait, what? RP, so RP, there's a TikTok desktop app. Is it for Mac? I only use Mac now. I got a PC down below just in case, like if hell broke loose and my Mac didn't work anymore. But let me check real quick, guys. Let me check. Dude, that'd be a game changer. This whole time I didn't. Let me check. TikTok.com. Whoa. No, it says TikTok shop. I'm not trying to shop on TikTok. Do y'all shop on TikTok, by the way? I mean, it's like a lot cheaper. um, hmm. I don't know. I don't see it, but I'll get back to it. I do. I do know Windows allows it where you can share your screen on Windows, which is weird. I don't. You would think they would have figured it out for Mac. Okay. So to Royal Lovers question, you forgot a few addresses in workplaces for your N400. Should you just bring it up in interview? Okay. So how did you forget that? Those kind of things might not seem like a big deal in the past traditionally, but I guess, in times where we have to tell an officer, I just want to let you know before we before after the oath, really do the oath. Or I mean, yeah, you're swearing in. I mean, um, and if you have any evidence to provide, then you provide that in general. And then I usually on behalf of my clients when I'm there, like officer, it's like the right timing, right? I tell the officer or notify them, officer, there's some pages we may need to update some information when we get there. If you don't mind, I'll share with you. Okay. But since it sounds like you have more than one address that you need to update, probably a good idea. Just print that off, at least that page. Okay, that might save everyone a lot of time. I mean, imagine a situation you literally have to spell out the address. That would just take too much time. The way we think about it is we want to provide the case, put together the case to where we make it easy for the officer to do their job. Okay, because they have so many cases, so many interviews every day. Appreciate DTG. Good to see you on YouTube. Let's see. You did it online, so you wrote it all down. Okay. Well, maybe if you have an online account, maybe just update that page, but put a cover letter to it to explain the situation. Which, by the way, here's a hot tip. Okay, which I feel like everything I share is a hot tip, but in general, this is what I coach our. I'm sorry, not coach. We prepare our clients because the president thinks we're like coaching you to give you like force you to give an answer. We're preparing you. Okay, it's much different. um some of you tend to over explain things, but you don't need to. We call, like, in our team we call it like level 1, level 2, level 3. All right, there's like the 5-second answer, or more like the 1 second answer. When if you have kids or something, you have nephews or nieces, you're like, oh, how was your day? And they say it was fine. Okay, that's like the 1 second answer. That's a little too short. All right. um, or like, how did you, relevant to USCIS intermarriage cases, like, how did you meet your spouse? At the bar, online app. Like, okay, a little bit more detail, like which app, um when was that? You don't want to like force an officer, like, ask who, what, when, where, why on everything, every single topic. So it's helpful. So we have the level 1 is like the 1 second answer. Then you get like the 10 to 15 second answer. That's what we usually tell our clients to provide. Okay, to have that framework. But some of y'all get to level 3, and that's a bit extreme. Most of the time, you don't have to get to level 3. Level 3 is like 45-second to 1 minute answer. That's just too much. The officer's not going to stop you. I remember an officer went down like this. Mm-hmm. Tell me more. Basically give you the signal, like, tell me more. And of course, I can't I can't throw something at my client or behind that person and say, hey, stop talking. Okay. It's not a bad thing, usually not a bad thing, but it does raise more questions that really, if you just listen to us attorneys, then it wouldn't have gone to that situation. Okay. All right. Just saves you some time. So you're not going to get that tip anywhere else right there. I doubt it. So let's go back to this feed here. So some questions. Kelton, let's get you on. I don't know if you're still there. I think you have a question about Mandamus. How's it going, sir? Good. Thank you, Kelton. So you got a employment case, 8 months?
So I have a marriage-based green card for my wife that we went to our interview. Interview was about 3.5 months ago. Submitted 8 months ago. Never had a work permit issued. Had some inquiries made to USCIS. All of the inquiries were ignored. Requested a tier 2 phone call to come back. Those were also ignored. Sent in a congressional letter. Congressman sent in a letter to USCIS requesting information. That was also ignored. At this point, we're not really sure what to do, given that nothing has been updated in our accounts since the interview. It just says an interview's been scheduled, and no real updates to the work permit or anything past that.
Okay, thank you for sharing. You wrote in the comment there, AOS employment is 8 months pending. So not even the work permit has not been produced.
No, not even the work permit's been approved. That hasn't even updated
yet.
And looking at the API dumps for everything, no one's even looked at them.
Yeah, it's we've looked at some back channels for our clients to see if it's correct. We end up just using lawfully, so that will tell us if something's actually been updated. Because when it says like actively being reviewed, for a lot of people, it just stays like that for months at a time. But obviously, it doesn't actually mean. Doesn't even say. Some people you already had the interview, and it still says biometrics. So that's even more frustrating. It's like, man, USCIS doesn't have anything together. So, but when
it was a CHNV entry for my wife, but we were told from USCIS that those are still actively being approved, and I've seen them being actively approved. Just our case just doesn't seem to be making the normal course.
Yeah, we've had some clients get the EAD, got the interview based on CHNV parole entry. So yeah, they were slow for a while because they paused it, but there was no official word that said they resumed it. But after we started getting the notices, then that's how we figured it out, right? So, but yeah, what month was your interview?
Our interview was at the end of June.
This year?
This year, correct.
Okay. And what is the month and year that you filed the case?
So we filed in February 7th.
February.
Of this year.
Okay, so it was after Trump took over. So, and yeah, so you had the interview. So that was quick. Which, if you don't mind sharing, which like field office, which location?
Oh, it was the San Jose Coleman office.
San Jose. Okay. I haven't heard anything negative, but yeah, California tends to have delays as well. But that's the thing. Like some people could get the decision much sooner than you, and there's no. It's unfortunate,
What they're saying is to be outside of normal processing times just for the green card is 56 months.
That's crazy.
Which seems a little much.
Speaking of that, yeah, I think the first option on location shows like National Benefit Center. You want to, for yours, I think it's 485 for your wife, right? So that one you definitely want to pick the location, the actual like San Jose field office.
That's what we did. Yes.
Still 58 months? That's wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty
nice. The work permit, though, has gone for a couple of months out of status.
Outside inquiry time?
Correct. And the work permit's at the National Visa Center.
Oh, yeah. National Benefit Center? Okay.
It is, correct.
Yeah. No worries. I know some of these words are pretty similar. So let me click on 485 family-based.
Yeah, so and the congressional letter plus the inquiries, they were all including the work permit that they never responded to.
All right. Yeah, that's frustrating. So the inquiries, you didn't even get a response to the inquiries?
No. So what ended up happening is I made an inquiry. The 60 days passed. It allowed me to make a second inquiry, and we're past the 60 days on that one too. So they missed 2 deadlines. And then request for a tier 2 officer to call us
Mm-hmm.
is almost 60 days
Mm-hmm.
instead of their normal 30-day that they're telling us that should have been.
So yeah, I'm sharing my screen on TikTok. I'm sorry, on YouTube and Facebook, and it's showing San Jose, California.
Correct.
So I do it based on the 485 application, and it shows
Okay,
10.5 months. It can get a little confusing which application to rely on, but for like the final hoorah to the resident status, it's the 485 you want to rely on.
Use the 485.
Okay, so it says 10.5, so that's like Christmas basically for you. You filed in February.
Okay, got it.
Like December, January. Here's the thing though. I mean, 10.5 for you, this is where I think I'm different than most law firms. We're not going to, for you, I would say hold off on the lawsuit. Okay. Let's probably, when people look at the processing times, we don't necessarily have to wait until after the 10.5 months. It depends on the traditional timing. The traditional timing for this kind of case is 12 months. So even then, I would probably wait 15 months from receipt date. So for yours, 15 months.
You wouldn't sue because they're not issuing the work permit, correct?
I usually wait at least a year. So it's pretty rare. It's pretty rare in that situation.
I was wondering about with it was if they scheduled the interview super quickly so that they wouldn't have to issue a work permit based upon the CHNV issues that have been going on.
Yeah, that's lately they kind of want to wait off on that and just get the green card interview done.
Got it. That makes sense. So if that's true with everyone, that makes a lot of sense then.
Yeah, so I would just hold off for now. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, thanks for asking, so you get more context.
Come back
all right.
in maybe March-ish.
Okay. Yeah. Put it in your calendar. Join back in March. Hopefully you don't need us, but wish you the best. Alrighty.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. Bye. Alrighty. So I mean, there's been people who even have like connects with Congress, which is good. I've known people who volunteered for certain administrations, and that was not enough. So it may also depend on who you contact, right? Either the senator or what do you call it? House of Rep. Maybe try a senator next time. It just seems like when a House of Rep gets involved, it doesn't tend to go anywhere. So try that. Okay. I'm gonna have to wrap up pretty soon. Let's see. Let's get Magda on. My kids just got home, so this might be a little difficult, but we'll see how this goes. Okay, looks like Magda's not on anymore. Let's see. Queen asked, in my opinion, if the status changes from active review to being processed, does that mean anything? Not much. Doesn't mean much. A bike. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Let's get you on. You're probably going to be my last guest for this afternoon. What's going on?
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi, welcome. How can I help you?
Yeah, I have a pending application. I put in my application in November 2024, got an interview date in April, and interview was later canceled, and we are yet to get any updated information on it.
Your interview was canceled. That was supposed to be April this year?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And when did you file your case?
November 2024.
November 2024. Okay. Yeah. So you had a fairly quick turnaround too. We have a couple clients that the interview was canceled like in the summertime and still waiting for rescheduling. So even now it's October. Yeah. I mean, about 15 months is when we file a lawsuit. Have you tried to submit inquiry with USCIS? It might not do it. Have you tried to submit an inquiry to USCIS on the website or call in? Okay. I mean, it might not, you might not even be allowed. Which, this is for adjustment of status, right? And which city again? Which
Baltimore.
Baltimore? Oh, okay. I just clicked on that earlier. Baltimore has been a lot faster than several years ago. Several years ago, like 36 months. Now it shows 14.5 months for Baltimore. So, but in general, 45 for lawsuit purposes, I would wait at least 15 months since the receipt date. Okay. Even if you didn't have the interview yet. Okay. So go ahead and follow if you haven't already to just check in with us. Okay. So nothing to do now other than maybe submit an inquiry if you're allowed to. You said yours is November 2024.
November 2024.
I'm just going to put November 3rd in here, 2024.
November 4th.
4th. Okay, let me just put in here, get inquiry date. Let's see what it says. It's, oh, smokes. Holy smokes. Let me share my screen for the folks on TikTok or YouTube. It shows cases processing normally, and you cannot submit an inquiry. So you can't even call. Well, you could call in, but they won't accept your inquiry. June 3rd, 2027. That's like 2 more years. It's crazy. They don't even want you to call them. Right. So that's why we talk. That's why I'm on live show to share with y'all the timing to sue them. So it's a little early to sue, but contact us in a couple months. Okay. Just to check in.
Okay.
All righty. Thank you so much. Okay. Take care.
Thank you.
Which, by the way, you might be waiting all this time, and like by March, like Kelton, I think said March, you'll check in with us. And we appreciate that you even consider us. Okay. We want to be your accountability partner. Okay. Don't worry. We're not going to have to put that on contract. But here's the thing. Especially if there's a marriage case and you have a joint bank account, please, for the love of God, use it. Don't wait all this time that USCIS has been delaying your case. And then you talk to us and we ask you this question. It's more of like a courtesy. We didn't file your case. We're not your attorney for the main case. And before we file the mandamus, in the ARM board meeting, we ask, like, how's your evidence looking? Like, if you had an interview or if you get a RFE or a NOID, do you have the evidence ready to go? All right. Because once we file that lawsuit, things are going to start ringing. We're going to get going. Okay. All right. So don't just be sitting around and waiting for the interview or the decision. You don't have evidence, what we call supplemental evidence. Okay. Okay, I do have to go. I do want to answer at least one more question. So go ahead and click the plus sign to follow or subscribe down below on your respective channel. Thanks so much for your trust and your patience. Epic Boss, I do want to answer you because you have been following the channel for a while. You think your case is stuck. DM us, okay, or call us, because I feel like you filed your case a while ago. Like it's been at least a year, right, Epic Boss? Okay. Royal Lovers, your phone was freezing earlier. Hopefully you're still on. So what you need to do is just update the form again, like download the form and fill out that page with all the addresses, okay? Which I think you commented earlier that you did do that. So you need to write a cover letter and the page of the form, just upload it. And then so by the time you get to the interview, at least you can tell the officer that when you get to that point after swearing in, right? Officer, I did upload an updated page about the addresses, or just do the whole form again, right? That probably would be better. All right. I hope that helps. Yeah. The kids are home. Sorry, guys. I gotta jet out of here. They're my new boss right now. Federal Plaza is open or closed. In general, courts are open, even though allegedly Democrats have shut down the government, which you got to think about that, okay? Really think about that. The courts are still open, okay? You might, if it still shows up on your EOIR automated case information website, then I would just still go, okay? Default, still go. Like I had trial in Dallas last Friday. It was still a go. All right. Y'all have a good day. And I will try my best to go live tonight. Thanks, Tasha. Have a good night or afternoon. Peace.